Welcome to the MLS Show. Me, Baz. I am joined by world famous Paul Machin from some little club in Liverpool. Now, from the Redmen TV, you'll all know him in America because, like I just said, he is world famous.
That is technically true, but not in the way that people would generally define it. Like, we've probably got viewers on every continent, but like 2 of them. Technically, I'm known throughout the world, but only in a very small.
Well, you say that, but I think there's quite a lot of US followers, certainly of the MLS Show, who follow the Redmen TV as well. So you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice. Sat in that chair. Paul, we have broke in MLS at the moment for the Copa America.
Yeah.
The very overpriced Copa America, I shall add. But that's for another day. Let's leave that where it is.
Yeah.
We've got the league tables in front of us from both conferences.
We have indeed.
What stands out for you just looking at it there and then, right in front of you?
Well, the thing that stands out is obviously Colorado Rapids top. I don't think, but I don't think anyone saw that coming, did they, given the performance last season. It's funny because you were the one saying to me how don't treat MLS the same way as you view the Premier League and what have you. Literally, well, maybe not literally, but the teams can come out of nowhere and make an impact in these across the 2 conferences. So no big surprise. And the one we were discussing is New York City. To be honest, look, I've watched a bit of them. I've probably watched more of them than I should have done, given that I'm not supposed to be paying attention to them. But they struggled at the start of the season, didn't they, to really get, given the names they've got in that team, and given that Veer should be, and to be fair, he pretty much is, isn't he? But should be miles better than anything that league's ever seen. But they were struggling, particularly at home, to get wins. They've drawn. I think they've drawn 5 at home. They've only won 1. Maybe maybe it's the fact that the stadium is not fit, or the pitch is not fit for purpose as a footballing venue. But
okay, but taking that, because people have discussed this, certainly on our Twitter feed, certainly with myself and Ped whenever he can be bothered. The stadium thing for me, the pitch at Yankee Stadium is it's a strange one for me, because every other team seems to be able to cope with it, bar New York City.
Exactly. You make
bizarre.
It's all well and good me saying it's a terrible surface. You can't for football. You say it's not hampering the teams that are coming to visit.
Why do you think that is? Because surely, if it's your home ground, we look in England and we'll see certain places where teams are fantastic at home, can't do anything away from home, and you're like, well, it's the tight ground there, or it's the way. Why in New York City? Why do you think other teams are finding it easier to play at Yankee Stadium?
Well, I guess it's probably not the Yankee Stadium, is it, in that instance? I mean, there's a couple of things. You could look at it and say, well, there's probably a lot of people, whether it's a football thing or just a fan of sport in general, or an American or whatever, playing at Yankee Stadium. My word, you get to tell your children that you've been there. And it's this thing, and we have it from a Liverpool perspective, is that when teams come to play you, there's a lot of guys who come up against Liverpool, and it's like, it's the biggest game of their careers. And look, New York City carry a reputation for a club that's so young in terms of MLS. And the fact of the matter is, you're going up against Andrea Pirlo, you're going up against David Villa, and you'll be thinking, well, I'm going to go out there and I'm basically going to play the game of my life, because I want to be able to tell my kids I'm the guy who put the crunching tackle in on Pirlo, And
what was interesting was you're actually the Frank Lampard from that, and rightly so.
And hasn't Patrick Vieira, to be fair.
Well, I think Frank's had quite a lot of pictures of the Empire State Building rather than with the New York City kit. So he is back, of course, now. Beginning this comeback off the
did very little to impact the game against your boys, though.
He did. He was rubbish against Orlando City, in all fairness. I think you're right. I think what Patrick Vieira needs to do is find a way of playing at home, whether that be a little bit more Route 1. It's such a narrow surface at Yankee Stadium that it doesn't suit, for some reason, New York City, but it kind of suits everybody.
But you go to those games, I think if you want to play a good brand of football, the best footballers need to play better on the best surfaces. Of course, they can play on anything because they're amazing footballers. But it is hampering to a point, and you always see the greatest teams do have the best stadium and the best pitch. And I remember seeing Fenway when they converted that for football, and I actually got to walk across it. oh my God, it was dreadful. I
Was
played
it?
in Saturday League and Sunday League grounds that were of a better condition than that, you know. So maybe it is just that thing. You've got teams who are able to come there and spoil it a bit more, and that's all you've got to do. And again, I think that's evidenced by the draws that New York they're picking up. They're not getting beaten as much as they are just not getting games across the line.
I mean, certainly against Orlando City the other week, they conceding late goals. They conceded the late one against Montreal Impact at home. If you take them 2 games out of the way, that it's another couple of victories for Vieira. But I mean, listen, they're sat in what are the 4th place, yet they're 5 points behind Philadelphia Union, but they're well within that playoff zone, so they're doing okay as we speak. Toronto are the one for me, and I want to bring up Sebastian Giovinco, because obviously he is the second top scorer in that conference anyway. He's got 8 goals. Villa, who you mentioned before, is the top scorer with 10. Just on the top scorers, I've just got them here. David Villa, 10 goals, 88 shots he's had with 10 goals.
Just shoot, have a go, see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens.
It's how I play computer games. I think is how he approaches MLS.
Well, that's
it's like, I know I'm brilliant. I'm just going to try and score amazing goals every all times to make myself look great.
Well, Giovinco's got 8 goals, and he's got the next highest shot with 76. Bradley Wright Phillips, New York Red Bulls, 45 shots.
Can I just say,
8 goals.
It still astounds me that he is as good as he is. I saw his goal last weekend, and he looks like it's like if you leave school and you move away to a new town, and you can basically craft whatever image you want for yourself. So they don't know you, they didn't grow up with you, you don't know that you were a little. You were a little geek. Yeah, exactly. They don't know you were a little geek or whatever back home. You can come in and you can be like, hey, this is who I am. You can reinvent yourself, and it's like he's gone over and done that. And I get, if you didn't know his history, you think, God, who is this guy? Yeah. What a talent. And let's be fair, he was the worst of the Wright Phillips brothers by some way as well. But he's gone over to MLS and he's phenomenal.
He knows where the net is. He certainly knows where the net is. Just touching on your Colorado Rapids, I think they're averaging 2 points a game at this stage in the season. Incredible. Yeah. Obviously, Tim Howard to make his debut there soon,
so that could change.
I think he'll be good. I think he's had a nice break. I'm going to protect Tim Howard at this point.
Why?
Because I'm a fan of MLS and he's left Everton.
But you're not a fan of Tim Howard?
I think, listen, Tim Howard was fantastic for Everton for 10 years.
Stop playing to the crowd.
I'm not. This is my feelings. He was fantastic. He was hung out to dry by Roberto Martinez at Everton. He needed to be taken out when his form dipped. Yeah. It didn't help him. Everything suffered, his form, his relationship, and everything else. But I think a change of scenery.
His relationship with his missus or something?
But that's a different story. His missus actually lives in America and has done for a number of years.
Well, there you go. So maybe, I see. Yeah.
So, but he had a lot of time to get tattoos because he's inked.
Why not? Yeah.
But I think he will do well for Colorado Rapids when they go in it. I mean, that is the big story. One thing I wanted to ask you about, LA Galaxy, just looking down there in 5th place, 3 games in hand on FC Dallas in 2nd. They'd go above them. But we had Chris Pajak on the other week, your compadre at Redmen TV, the man. I asked him about Steven Gerrard because there's big stories. It has died down a little bit, and it possibly was just a journalist running away with the story. But there was rumours a couple of weeks ago that Steven Gerrard was homesick and was thinking about, he'd been offered a role at Liverpool and was considering cutting his MLS career short. 2 things. What I asked Chris was, A, would you want him back at Liverpool in that capacity? And B, in your opinion, for Gerrard and his career, should he be considering cutting that short? In fact, do that one first. As a footballer, he's coming to the end. There's no question about it. He's not going to come back to Liverpool as a player because that time is gone now. Given that you're a long time retired, and to be honest, he's been playing really well for Galaxy lately. Yeah. Should he even be considering cutting a career short, which has basically got 5 months left?
I think they'll make a big difference. And I don't know whether I've said this on the show before. The thing to remember about Steven Gerrard is he's a family man. Yeah. And like obviously when you live in the same city and play in the same city for your entire career, you're never more than 20 minutes away from your mum and dad's house. Yeah. But for me, I think the issue comes with his kids, and I know his family are still based back over in England from what I know. And I always said the only 2 times you see Steven Gerrard smile ever are when if football is going perfectly for him and it's done, like the game's won and with time to play, or when he's with his kids. And the fact of the matter is, that is a long way away to be from your children. Now, you know, we'll know it. I spend a couple of days away from mine, and they do your head in when you're with them, but when you spend a few days away, it doesn't start to impact you. And with all the travel, and I think he's built up a wall around himself. I'm getting a bit psychoanalysis here, but you know, he's built up a wall around himself because he's had to, because he's been this megastar for so long. I don't know what his lifestyle would be like. I don't know whether he's suited to being on his own so much, and maybe that would be an impact. And the fact is, you know, the school holidays in England are coming up in a month or so's time. Will there be a down period? I don't know, but his family will be able to come over and see him. That might reinvigorate him, get him through to the end of the season. Then I think he'll make his decision there. Whether he comes back to Liverpool is another matter. I think there's a split. I'd have him back. I'd have him back as a player coach if I would. Not that he's going to play every game, but just I think they're putting him in the league next season, and I want him to win a league title before he fully retires. But no, they
can't possibly, because Everton are going to win it. Yeah. I'd say there's much chance as us winning it as you. I
feel like this might come back to haunt us at some point in the future.
I think it definitely probably.
But no, look, Gerrard. I'm not upset. I actually care less than I thought I would.
Really?
To be perfectly honest. Look, it's out of sight, out of mind, mate. You know, and he's not a Liverpool player anymore. I love him dearly. I want him to be a success because of all the success that he's brought, and I've seen, you know, as a Liverpool fan. But I'm a Liverpool fan. You know what I mean? I focus on that first and foremost. I hope he does well, but I am a bit disappointed that he's not been better than he has. I think he had the ability to do it. And I don't know whether he's been saving him. I think I spent a lot of his late career saving himself for one thing after another. And I do think it weighs on his mind that he's not been a success. But also he knows that if he pushes himself too hard and he gets injured, he might not get the chance to prove himself. But this has been the eternal Gerrard conundrum, is that you'll see a 7 out of 10 every week, Gerrard, rather than like 5 or 6 games of him being absolutely well. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, just on MLS, do you think in that, I always feel as though strikers, it's probably easier as a striker as you get older to probably still perform at that level. I think a midfield player like Gerrard, it's a fit league, it's a strong league. If you look at players look at Drogba, for instance, 38, and he scored against LA Galaxy last week with a free kick to win the game for Montreal. He's still doing it at 38. I don't think a 38-year-old midfield player can play in MLS.
I think Drogba came to the top level a bit late, didn't he? He was a late bloomer. He wasn't into his 20s until he really hit the top of the top division. He was playing lower league French football, I think, until he joined Marseille when he was around 24, I think. So I think he'll have more in the tank than you'd imagine. But I agree, because again, I think we're going to do something on Robbie Keane a bit later on. But he's another example of that. You know, he shouldn't be able to perform at any level. But you know, I think you do. I think you change your game, don't you? You change your style. Just to look at La Liga as an example. Like Fernando Torres has reinvented himself this season. There's a guy who was all about the pace and the direct running and a bit of skill and what have you. And all of a sudden, he's become a bit more of a bit of a bruiser, a bit of a target man, holding it up, looking to link people in. And when you're able to adapt your game that way, you can get more out of it. Whereas if you're in midfield, where do you go? Gerrard's dropped deeper and deeper and deeper, and now, you know, those legs, if someone runs past you, you've still got to go, you know what I mean? And unfortunately Gerrard, it's not his natural inclination, so I think he would struggle. You see Pirlo to some extent is the same.
Pirlo, most definitely. Lampard is another one he's not done. I thought Lampard had turned it. I still think
Lampard's got 2 years older than Gerrard as well.
I mean, I still think Lampard can. His biggest asset, Frank Lampard, is scoring goals. That's his biggest thing, and he's not been fit enough for long enough to affect the game. He got a few goals last year for New York City. They need him fit if they're to maintain where they are in them playoffs. They need Lampard fit. He's not going to, as much as you may want him to be booted out and sent back home early, it's not going to happen. So they need Frank Lampard fit. You know, you're looking here last year, the Western Conference, last year's MLS Cup winners, Portland Timbers, are points off the playoff, they're there or thereabouts. It just shows you when you just look through those, both conferences are very, very tight with a couple of points here and there. This is what I've been trying to say to you.
All along,
Just love it. Just embrace it and enjoy it, because this will probably be flipped soon. That's how easy it is. But we're at an unprecedented break in MLS at the moment for the Copa America, like I said at the top of the show. First time they've done it. I think it's the right decision. I don't think you want teams playing with 8-9 players missing.
I think it's a step towards legitimacy, to be honest. I mean, we were talking earlier about this, and they do it in like cricket as a perfect example. I'm sure no one is remotely asked about us talking about cricket on here. But that being said, the county cricket game is a joke as a result, because all your best players disappear on international duty, and it carries on, and there's no money in that game as a result. And you see it now. It happened. It's not that long ago. It's probably only within the last 4, maybe 5 years, if that. Like the Championship in England has started taking international breaks as well, because there's that much quality spreading out throughout the leagues. And I think it does. I think it says that this league will suffer if we were to carry on. They're thinking about the fans, they're thinking about the sponsors, they're thinking about the TV rights and all that. But the fact that they're able to do that legitimately, and it's because it's all well and good if it's given an advantage to like one team. Yeah. But if it's now something that impacts across the league, then I think that's actually, in a really weird way, I guess it's a compliment, but I think it's a good thing for MLS. Definitely, how far it's come.
And it shows how many international players are actually playing in MLS now, that they have to go away to Copa America, to obviously the European Championships as well.
Not Giovinco, no.
No Giovinco, which is, I mean, how's he not even been included?
Bonkers. Italy have got no goal scorer in that squad. I think it's like, it's a shocking thing where, without researching it, I couldn't tell you Italy's best attacking option, other than looking at my Euro 2016 sticker book, which tells me like Eder or something, who I've never heard of. But you could make that case. Oh well, he's playing in MLS, so it's not
as Antonio Conte did.
Well, exactly, which is just,
he made the decision to go to MLS.
Mental. Absolutely mental. What harm is there in having him in the squad and having him there and being like your third choice centre forward?
The thing about him is he's got the ability to just turn something on like that. There's no other Italian player like him. Yeah, and that's why I can't. For me,
well, again, we'll talk about him again. But Robbie Keane's managed to maintain a good international goal scoring record whilst doing one of the longest commutes going. You know what I mean? Coming over from MLS back to Ireland and around the world for whatever. And he's a lot older than Giovinco as well. I'm baffled by that. Because the thing of it is, there's so many slow Italian footballers, and that's one thing that Giovinco isn't. He's got so much pace to burn that even if somehow he'd lost a touch of finesse or whatever, because he wasn't playing in a technically, a league that was as technically good as Serie A or whatever, his pace is going to cause problems no matter what. I
think it's just a stupid decision, like you say, because given the players who Italy have got at their disposal, he is something. They haven't got anyone like him, and that for me makes it a bizarre decision.
Hopefully Conte's stupidity carries on to being Chelsea boss.
This is a different programme. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Who's impressed you so far? Colorado Rapids going to be everyone's. Obviously, they won't impress someone. We'll leave you if you don't like Colorado. Who has impressed you? Who has disappointed you so far? Who should be involved in the Euros and isn't? Obviously, we've seen Seaman, Montreal Impact player, score for Belgium at the weekend, showing that MLS players can perform at international level. Despite what you think, Conte, sort your wig out.
Conte.
Yeah. Conte. I'm going to call him Conte, like the Continental in Liverpool. Give us a little subscribe, give us a like on Facebook, give us a follow on Twitter. We'll be there discussing everything with you on there, and me and Paul will catch you on the next video when we talk about the evergreen Robbie Keane. Welcome to the MLS Show. Me, Baz. I am joined by world famous Paul Machin from some little club in Liverpool. Now, from the Redmen TV, you'll all know him in America because, like I just said, he is world famous.
That is technically true, but not in the way that people would generally define it. Like, we've probably got viewers on every continent, but like 2 of them. Technically, I'm known throughout the world, but only in a very small.
Well, you say that, but I think there's quite a lot of US followers, certainly of the MLS Show, who followed the Redmen TV as well. So you're doing yourself a bit of a disservice. sat in that chair.
Well, maybe not literally, but the teams can come out of nowhere and make an impact in these across the two conferences. So no, big surprise. And the one we were discussing is New York City. To be honest, look, I've watched a bit of them. I've probably watched more of them than I should have done, given that I'm not supposed to be paying attention to them. But they struggled at the start of the season. They need to really given the names they've got in that team, and given that Veer should be, and to be fair, he pretty much is, isn't he? But should be miles better than anything that league's ever seen. But they were struggling, particularly at home, to get wins. They've drawn. I think they've drawn 5 at home. They've only won 1. Maybe
we'll see certain places where teams are fantastic at home, can't do anything away from home, and you're like, well, it's the tight ground there, or it's the way. Why in New York City? Why do you think other teams are finding it easier to play at Yankee Stadium?
Well, I guess it's probably not the Yankee Stadium, is it, in that instance? I mean, there's a couple of things. You could look at it and say, well, there's probably a lot of people, whether it's a football thing or just a fan of sport in general, or an American or whatever, playing at Yankee Stadium. My word, you get to tell your children that you've been there. And it's this thing, and we have it from a Liverpool perspective, is that when teams come to play you, there's a lot of guys who come up against Liverpool. Maybe it's the fact that the stadium is not fit, or the pitch is not fit for purpose as a footballing venue. But
okay, but taking that, because people have discussed this, certainly on our Twitter feed, certainly with myself and Ped whenever he can be bothered. The stadium thing, for me, the pitch at Yankee Stadium is it's a strange one for me, because every other team seems to be able to cope with it, bar New York City.
Exactly. You make
bizarre.
It's all well and good me saying it's a terrible surface. You can't for football. You say it's not hampering the teams that are coming to visit.
Why do you think that is? Because surely, if it's your home ground, we look in England and Paul, we have broke in MLS at the moment for the Copa America. The very overpriced Copa America, I shall add. But that's for another day. Let's leave that where it is. We've got the league tables in front of us from both conferences.
We have indeed.
What stands out for you, just looking at it there and then, right in front of you?
Well, the thing that stands out is obviously Colorado Rapids, top. I don't think, but I don't think anyone saw that coming, did they, given the performance last season. It's funny, because you were the one saying to me how don't treat MLS the same way as you view the Premier League and what have you. Literally